top right position of Jaganantha. He is playing for Cascade Esports. Give it up for SKillous.
His opponent on the other side of the map. He's in the red. It's a Frenchman. He is on the Gamer's Origin right now. Stephano. The old man.
The old
Younger
man.
than I am, actually. But
See, that's the kind of funny thing, you know, when we're talking about all these big esports legends, you kind of think of them as like, oh, they're, 40, 50, 60. No, they're like 25 and retired. So, we can't really use their age as the sign of greatness these days. But
for sure. I mean, it's always been an interesting thing, right? Because for the longest amount of time, people thought, like maybe 25, that's just your cap. You're just not going to move quick enough within the world of esports, especially something as taxing as StarCraft 2. But people are proving otherwise. Definitely all the players still, doing really well. I mean, look at Flash in StarCraft 1, right? He's still one of the absolute best players. And I'm pretty sure he's getting pretty old, right? They're still there and still kicking some serious behind, which is fun to see now because we get to see these generations kind of clash and do battle against one another.
And yeah, speaking of generations clashing, we're already seeing kind of this new meta out of Stephano. It's a really small thing that we see on a lot of maps now because Protoss players are a bit more annoying. We just saw Stephano go straight for the third base without even really trying to take his natural. And what that's going to allow him to do is kind of get that a little bit safer because you can get your creep spread a little bit further forward. So there's that early warning system against attacks. There's the fact that you can get that up and going. And yeah, it's just really good to make sure because, as you know, Protoss players can be quite aggressive on this map. Adept Glaives is a favorite. And you know what? We do see a Stargate. Now, I don't want to say that Europe is a little bit behind KR in terms of the strats and such, but we should be seeing at least once in this series some sort of Void Ray shenanigans, I believe. What do you think?
Maybe. I don't know. I think SKillous overall is a player that just likes to play this straight up. Max Packs, for example, is a little bit of a different story, but SKillous, I mean, he is pretty darn good with that macro, right? I don't think he's too afraid to bring it in a little bit later. But I would sooner expect SKillous to do like a timing attack with off of 2 base, perhaps, maybe some adepts, rather than like something sneaky being proxied. But I've been wrong before with a lot of those things, so who knows? Who knows? It might happen. A funny thing actually before, whenever a Protoss would actually block your natural base, already a lot of players would just assume, oh, okay, here we go, there's the Adept Glaives. Now, of course, that's a little bit of a thing of the past, but it's still something that's on my mind sometimes when I see that probe blocking a hatchery. It's like, all right, well, you know what? It's now a good opportunity. Those drones pretty far apart. Gonna be a long time for those queens to gather everywhere, but instead, it's the Oracle this time around. Not finding too much just yet, but he's getting more Oracle power. Going up to, what is it, 3? Yeah, going up to 3 for now. Should be able to do quite a bit of harassment, keep himself safe from Lings. But of course, Stephano, the Roach King, he's going for the roaches again here, Passer.
Yeah, and honestly, I do think that is going to be the safer option, especially when you do see that your opponent is going for a couple of additional oracles, because that's kind of the thing. Roaches don't really die to oracles that much, so that's a lot of extra firepower that you're not going to have, and really, it's good for not only staying safe versus these kind of 2-base pushes like you were talking about. We even see a couple of adepts going to be coming in to augment these oracles attack. But it also allows you to kind of push for the late game a little bit easier in terms of getting that infestation pit. It's a little bit quicker than, say, Mutiling Bane because you have a little bit of additional gas here. But here we go. The Oracle's going to be coming in, getting a quick snipe on that Queen, but they will take one of their lives for it as the Adepts, after getting 4 kills, will get taken down in the main. So not the most not the most concerted attack, but it was okay. Not too bad.
It was a good effort, I would say. It was a pretty funky strategy. You wouldn't really expect Adepts anymore after those Oracles, right? At least, I mean, how many did he send in? It felt like a couple, 4 of them. Okay, it was just 4. All right. Yeah, with the Oracle support, maybe you're going to do a bit more damage. I think he was hoping to do more in that situation as well. It's nice that he keeps that pylon alive. But, yeah, he's definitely not out of it yet, although it's a bit troubling seeing the army supply right now. As soon as those Queens get across the map, things might get a bit hairy here for SKillous.
Yeah, so his big goal right now is to break either the natural or the third. You cannot fight both here, because that concave for SKillous will be just a little bit too strong with those shield batteries. The Roaches gonna get rid of these force fields with the Biles to start things off, as the Immortal, he's focusing down some of the Ravagers. I'd like to see him kind of get on top of the Roaches with that, because that's all he has. A couple of Lings try and make their way in, but they will get deflected. And this is...
Yeah, nice force field.
Yeah.
It looks like he might be starting to holding those cannons, and the shield battery still going at it. 2 Immortals still standing. And there does seem to be enough Zealots there to get rid of the Ravagers and the Zealots as well. So, yeah, SKillous, a very solid hold there. Is looking healthy on the work account. And units lost tab, let's take a look at that as well. Yeah, that is not telling a good story for Stephano. He does find an Immortal here. That can still, you know, help out quite a bit, but another second Immortal already about to finish up. I'm sure there's another... Yeah, there we go. Zealots being warped in. Coming in as well.
Yeah, so Stephano has left himself quite open after that one. The Queen's going to get rid of one of the Oracles, which can help out. And SKillous, he's not going to attack into this because he knows that's pretty much suicide. But now he does have the ability to kind of be a little bit safer. Stephano is forced now into this position where he's only on 45 workers, and he is so all in that there's no getting out of it. If you drone up, then SKillous will be able to run you over with his increased production. And now with Templars and Archons plus 2 attack as well, I'm not liking this at all for Stephano's position. He's gonna have to win it right now. His timer has started.
I mean, he has a pretty sizable army here. It's a bit worrisome that a lot of it is in those Zerglings, and we do have those Archons available as well, and so much infrastructure to kind of squeeze himself in between. Zerglings going for a run by though into the natural. They do manage to find those mineral lines, so they are potentially going to do a bit of damage here. Let's see where we end up after those Zealots are actually just chopping them up. Actually, they are not doing anything. That's always nice to see right there. It was a couple of Zealots being warped in at the right place, the right time. And Blemo. SKillous will be able to maintain position there. It's important to note, right, that he did keep those weapons available as well, even though the army of Stephano was kind of pressuring or kind of posturing on the left side. And there we have it. GG is scored, yeah. It really was a final attempt there by Stephano, not quite working out. SKillous will be able to take map number 1, which felt pretty comfortable. I mean, that attack with the Queens coming across with all the Roaches as well, it gained a bit more popularity recently, right? And I think I've seen Lambo do it as one of the first players and just absolutely destroying some very good Protoss players. But yeah, it seems like it's starting to get figured out more and more by those Protoss players. They're not messing around. You saw the amount of shield batteries and cannons he was throwing down. Like, he did not take any chances right there.
Which, I mean,
so,
you really...
well done.
I mean, you really shouldn't, like, against that kind of attack.
That's the
because,
way. That's the way you do it.
I mean, the thing is, once you see that kind of attack, you know you're safe as long as you hold. So you just put a little bit more effort in, and you can kind of see that you can kind of see. During all of that, he added on the additional gateways. He snuck out his +2 attack, so his units were hitting a lot harder. He even got Blink, which I thought was pretty interesting because we didn't see a single... I don't think we saw that many Stalkers available with that. So, yeah.
I wonder, maybe he was thinking about some sort of Aspire transition or something like that. I don't know. Blink Stalkers, they're nothing bad to have, right? They're quite a mobile force, especially against like Ling run-bys as well. They can still work out pretty darn well. But yeah, SKillous, he just got it anyway. He was in a good enough position to do so, right?
Exactly. So now for our next map, we're going to be going on to Romanticide. This is an interesting one because it is that macro map, but it does have a lot of those little areas where you can kind of hide things here and there. Now, obviously, this is not a PVT, so I doubt we're going to be seeing that Stargate behind the mineral line near the third base. But what do you think?
That's just, yeah, it's a bit rougher to, like, I would like to see Stephano try to avoid such a push as he tried in the previous game. He might still try to make it work just because he's up against SKillous, and I'm fairly certain that he knows how badass SKillous is right now. It's a very difficult opponent to take down, and maybe he's just trying to bring in the Roach victory as he used to do so many times in the past. Doesn't seem to quite be working out as much anymore, but who knows? What else could he do, though, right? That's the next question. You could try to bring it into a late game, but then again, as I said, that is where SKillous excels at as well. So, I don't know. It's just a rough call for Stephano to make, I would say. Let's just see where he brings it. I'm willing to be surprised.
Yeah, you know what? I don't think this is going to be necessarily an easy 2-0, but after a game like that, I might have to rethink that, as we got people enjoying the hair of us, which is pretty cool. But you know what? Good. We have something else to enjoy. It is a lovely thing. I'm just going to change one thing real quick so that we can be fancy over here at ESL. As we have spawning down here in the bottom right position. Give it up for the French Zerg player looking for glory once again. He is Stephano.
His opponent is rocking the rat collar in the Protoss race. He's from Russia, the Cascade esports player. Give it up for SKillous. Okay, well, things are going normal. This time around, no hatchery block there for Stephano. So that's always, a little bit of a fresh breath there when you're, playing Zerg. You actually get to put your natural in the actual natural location, right? Otherwise, I always call it the unnatural natural you have to take. I just feels wrong overall. But, yeah, so that's always a little uptick there for him.
Yeah,
knows that he got what he wants, right?
Oh yeah, indeed. It keeps him safe in case there is some sort of little cheeky shenanigans, like a gateway out of place, or some sort of 4-gate. It's just a little bit easier to kind of get the reinforcements down there. But yeah. SKillous, he's not throwing down anything just yet. He's just waiting for that cybernetics core, as you do. Nothing really too crazy yet, but
with the low base, getting the actual natural as well, it's a little thing, but you still have those drones, of course. Once you transfer them, it's shorter walk distance, so they'll be back at mining a lot quicker. And usually you do send quite a couple of drones, so it could be a little bit of a difference there of maybe 1 or 2 waves of those drones moving back and forth. Which can be pretty nice to have that extra money just coming in a little bit quicker.
You know what? Seconds count in this game. That is for sure, because I think Stephano is one of the best players for that. If I recall, a lot of casters and a lot of players kind of talk about him as one of those guys who just inherently knows these timings straight off the back without even having to like look at a Liquipedia guide or anything like that. So just kind of knowing those small things is what sets you apart from being just some high-tier GM to being a true professional player. And now he's going to have to deal with roughly the same thing here, as we do have a Stargate on the way for SKillous. So once again, it's going to be... once again, just going to be that kind of Oracle Adept opener, which... let's see how much damage you can get done with it.
He didn't do that much with it the previous game, right? It was just very useful for him because that attack kind of showed him what was coming towards him and allowed him to defend very well. This time around, we're not seeing a Roach Warren just quite yet from Stephano, but it's around this moment, you know, if he does have any plans, he could still plop it down. So I'm kind of keeping an eye on that. Is he just producing drones? Something else coming along?
Yeah, so far just kind of droning up a little bit. And yeah, that second Oracle going to be coming out. That Overlord, pretty nice snipe because that will kind of slow him down just slightly while he waits for those additional ones to come in. We do see a small batch of Lings about to get their wings, and now they're going to fly straight into the third base, looking for something. The Adept actually isn't in position here. While I don't think he's going to kill it, this is actually pretty good because it forces the Oracle to use some of that energy, making it a little bit less effective on the other side of the map. Again, small things.
Yeah, getting a probe as well. It's not bad. Pretty nice for Stephano here. It's 2 Adepts. Ooh, doesn't seem like they're getting anything done either. Nice block there with the Spore Crawler being created and the Queen blocking off as well. It seems like the Adepts aren't quite done just yet, and with the help of the Oracle, still pick off of 5 total workers here. Well, I mean, it did put him ahead in the worker count here once again. Stephano throws down that Roach Warren. But, you know what? Overall, he should be able to kind of drone himself back up again from that, I would say.
Yeah, now this is where that a little bit of a faster rush distance comes into play, because you can see Stephano is pushing that creep out quite heavily with these 2 queens. Looks like he is going to bring them home to defend for just a minute. But yeah, as long as you're pushing that creep further out, it's going to give a shorter distance for these queens to waddle off of it. And that means you can hit so much faster. But here we go. The sentries are a little bit exposed, but the force field will keep them safe. And gets another probe. So, that's nice.
The force field actually keeping that many probes stuck in there, man. That was kind of funny. He just force fielded his own worker line for quite a long time. It's still not mining fully, is it? Oh my god, all the probes are standing still.
Oh,
he never put them back to work.
That is huge.
One force field just... Oh, that's... Well, I mean, he's killing a lot of workers now as well, so that's nice.
Oh, yeah, but he's not focus firing.
They're still standing there. They're still standing there. They're not doing it. Oh, my... Well, I mean... If he's gonna lose now somehow, some way, I'm gonna put the blame on that. 12 worker kills. That's pretty solid, though, right?
Yeah, that is a really good thing there for SKillous, and you can kind of see Stephano was a little bit floaty with his minerals here, dropping down 6 Hydralisks. I don't know if that's going to be necessarily the right choice here, as SKillous is going for kind of an anti-Hydra army with that Templar Archive coming in and the charge lots. If you're going to go for Hydralisk versus this, you definitely need something to kind of tank for it, and we don't really see too many roaches on the production tab. Did he actually... Okay, he did not cancel the Roach Warren. I'd be so upset if he did.
Yeah, he's got Roach Speed as well upgraded, so if you want some roaches, they are there. He's got 3 of them on the menu right now. Yeah, it's a bit of a fragile army he has. If he keeps dodging storms, of course, that will be fine, but yeah, he's getting some of those roaches, as you mentioned, in now. I think he kind of figured out what kind of army composition he was up against. Maybe he was anticipating some sort of an air toss army, right? Those are gaining a lot of popularity again.
Oh, for sure.
So maybe he was just making sure. Let me make, you know, I need to make an army. Let me just get those Hydras and they'll be okay in either situation. Maybe a little bit less against those storms, of course, but they'll do okay. And he's going to get the Lurker Den, going to be absolutely fine.
Small Zealot run by, gonna distract a lot of this army for Stephano, almost like an A move here, as the main army is actually gonna hit the 4th base. This is a very greedy 4th, by the way, and so that is gonna get pushed back just slightly, but still, that was actually the kind of moves that you need to make. Pull Stephano away from your main attack path.
I like that he took this base, though, actually, because he's going for the Lurkers, so he's a very defensive kind of style army. If he fortifies this position, in a way, he's not just grabbing this base, but he's also grabbing the base that's just a little bit below it, right? The 6 o'clock there on the bottom. That one's going to be secure as well. If you have your Lurkers set up here, some Spore Crawlers, very difficult for SKillous to have any say about that any longer. And, yeah, now with Stephano, that forward base secured, it feels like we should be able to get ourselves in a pretty late game situation here between the two. Be surprised if Stephano really starts pushing out here, but he is a wild Frenchman. He likes to be aggressive now and again.
Yeah, the one thing I like, the big difference here, is that we didn't see that concerted attack. Instead, he's up on about 77 workers and hitting that hive. In terms of the upgrades as well, he is roughly even, so that's going to help out. And now that he has Lurkers, like you said, kind of getting into this position will help him out, since that is a very narrow choke point that SKillous will have to fight through. And now with 174 to 137 and double the army supply, I think I like Stephano's spot so much better now. Look at that, even dropping down the Evo chamber to hide the Lurker. That is 2,000 IQ play.
Good luck targeting this. Yeah, we do have a bit of a transition, of course, coming up for SKillous here, right? He's not unknown to how to counteract this type of play from the Zerg. He is building those targets. He's got his fleet beacon finished up right now. And very important as well, those weapon upgrades for the air army coming in here also. So he is really marching up right now. This little push, I don't think he's really planning to push in too much, unless if there's nothing there, but yeah, slowly trying to keep Stephano a little bit busy on this side. He doesn't have to lose any supply, of course, SKillous, but it's nice to kind of keep Stephano having to spend some units here and there.
Yeah, now the funny thing is, Stephano is supplied out, so you can kind of see him just choosing to sack some of these units for a little bit of gain going towards that 3rd base location. These are meant to do damage, but they're also kind of to force SKillous back a little bit, and also, you know, again, just try and get rid of some of that supply so you can add on some additional Lurkers, maybe some higher tier units, like if you wanted to go up to Corruptors anytime soon.
These Hydras are doing work so far. Oh, trying to figure out a way into the 4th base here as well. Good storms to keep that from happening, but those Hydras already inside. See if this will be enough. It is a lot of Hydras here. A good storm could put an end to it overall, but if he keeps missing those storms, okay, that's more Zealot reinforcements now. I think he should be okay.
Yeah, and you can kind of see he's leaving the Lurkers here just to do what they can, make it so that SKillous can't chase the army. That's going to be pretty important, but here we go. Another base is under fire. The Roaches, though, they're going to pull back a little bit. They will get cleaned up. There's just action all over the place here. Stephano trying to hit across multiple screens. He probably has one of those 32-inch ultra wides or something. Oh, the High Templar's going down without some storms. God. Oh my goodness, that was an absolute decimation of SKillous's army.
Man, that was a very nice engagement overall from Stephano, poking in from those two sides and then having the Lurkers in the middle. It almost felt like he was trying to force that army to move back and forth, as he would just have his Lurkers on the side, poking at SKillous's army every time they ran by, and man, yeah, that just melted there in the end. Stephano, well played, does manage to tie up the series here and keeps himself alive against this opponent.
This is not as one-sided as it was last time here. So we do have a little bit of a quick second before we get the next one underway.
Looks like that will be 2000 Atmospheres, the next map. It's a pretty big map. A couple of choke points here and there, right? Just spread out across the entire facility. But yeah, I always like this map. It feels well balanced, in my opinion. People always have different opinions, of course, but I think it's a pretty good one. I like the games that is creating. They're very mixed with whether they're long, short, stuff like that. Let's see. We have an ad break, 90 minutes. No, it's seconds. Okay.
90 minutes. Okay.
Yeah. We're in America now. It's still on the EU service, but we don't do 90-minute ad breaks here.
All right. So we do have. Yeah, let's get this all set up. Get everything ready to go. Yeah, I hope you all are enjoying the stream. If you want to also check out the main channel, it's going to be on ESL _ SC2. They are doing, I believe, Hero Marine versus Gerald. So that is going to be an excellent one as well.
Yeah. Man, Gerald and Hero Marine, two pretty darn cool players as well. I think there's a bit of an up, one class above one of them above the other, but Geralt, I mean, he's been getting stronger as well, right? He's such a nice guy as well. I always love to see him do well in tournaments. And then Big Gabe, everybody loves Big Gabe. If he gets far in a tournament, the memes that we get are just fantastic. So, and
you know
what? It never
what?
hurts having him go far in a tournament.
And you know what? The cool thing about not just being a meme, it's the fact that he can actually back up his meme with actual action. You know, he's not just big, as in he is a big boy. He is also so big in the scene and also huge in the MMR. I think he's one of the only players with 7K. 7K.
Yep. I'm not sure about what his MMR is right now, but
I think that's what happens when you take my MMR and your MMR and add like a couple thousand on top of it.
I think Maru managed to do that as well at some point, right?
I believe. Oh yeah, definitely.
Probably. That's also one of those guys that, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if they managed it at some point.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, game number 3.
Yeah, you want to take us in?
Yeah, all right. Let me see what camera we're on right here. Which number are you? I'll find you. There you go. You're number 7 this time. Changing it up for me. All right, in the top right side, we have a red Zerg player. He is a Frenchman, and he is one hell of an old guy. Can't believe he's still around. Give it up for Gamer's Origin, Stephano.
And down here in the bottom left, his big boy teeth came in game number 1, but he got knocked down just slightly. Give it up for Cascades Esports, SKillous. And let us just check everything here. And, you know, Stephano going to be doing Stephano things, instantly taking that third base. Just going to say to heck with it. I don't even care that the probe is nowhere to be seen. And it looks like we do have...
That was for a moment there.
And it looks like we do have an update from the mainstream. So if you don't want spoilers, mute for 5 seconds. Hero Marine took it 2-0 over Gerald, which is... kind of an expected result. Gerald is a really good Protoss player, but Hero Marine is out for blood today. And,
yeah, I mean, you expect Hero Marine to get through the group stage, right? You expect him to be in the top seed, at least like top 10 of Europe, right? That's kind of the bar he put for himself with all his previous performances. That's kind of where you start to expect him to end up. And he's not the kind of guy that would just give up on that either, I feel like. He's going to stay there for a while. And sometimes just start winning them as well, right?
Yeah. I think he can be very satisfied with his career, but until you get that #1 spot in a premier event like the DreamHack Summer, then you know, you're always going to be wanting something more. Now, we also do have that Adept going to be coming out, just doing a little bit of poking. And we also have that one Stalker to kind of shoo away that Overlord in the front, which is pretty nice. But I think SKillous is going with the fact that if it ain't broken, don't fix it. So, just going to be playing it similar, hiding, keeping his cards close to his chest, I'd imagine.
Yeah. I mean, he's doing the same thing he did the previous time, though. He's just going for the oracles, which is, in a way, it's good, right? I mean, that's the way he likes to play. He's a player that just likes to be very solid in his builds and execute them properly. So yeah, seeing him kind of stick to this oracle type of thing, it's nice to see him just having that confidence. All right, didn't go well last time, but yeah, maybe he'll try to do some adjustments, right? So that, in a way, I always like that if people kind of stick to the same openings, and then we get to see what the variations are truly, what kind of the adjustments are in order to, you know, not lose the game again.
Indeed, indeed. And now, yeah, we do see Stephano adding on a couple of additional lings. That's kind of to be expected. I think the Adept did not make its way in. I think SKillous is kind of keeping that a little bit closer to home just in case. But now he's going to feel confident enough to send those across, while we're going to see Stephano go for a little bit of a four-way. And once again, there's no Adept at this base, so the Oracles are going to have to expend some of that energy to shoo this off. Again, making them a little bit less effective in the very, very near future.
Yeah, 2 Adepts get some workers. Yeah, only 2 of them. A lot of missed mining time, of course, as well. And there go the Adepts now into the natural base, where Lynx are there to greet them. Warm hugs and kisses.
You know, one thing I've just noticed about this series, in terms of SKillous' play, is that he's a little bit uncoordinated with these attacks. And that's not necessarily saying that, oh, he sucks, he should be in Diamond, ha ha ha. Basically, I'm just saying that it kind of just seems like he's trying to focus on one location and not really able to utilize these 1-2 punches that he is setting up beautifully. We kind of saw those oracles lazing around while the Adepts were focused in. So, just small issues right there. If he adjusts that, then this would be golden for him. As we do see these oracles going to get a couple of additional kills and back on out.
Yeah, get themselves set up in the corner there. Will be able to be an everlasting presence unless if there's a spire created. Stephano, I mean, we are seeing that ranged upgrade, so I'm expecting him to try and get himself into that lurk attack once more. It's fun to see him not taking that further forward base with the rich gas or something like that, as he did on Romanticide, right? The one further forward base, so that kind of would secure him the ones behind him as well. We're not seeing that here. Maybe just the map thing or the way the terrain is working out, but still pretty interesting. For the rest, yeah, I'm truly expecting him to try and get. Oh my, that's a bloodbath. Forgot about those boys for a second, didn't we?
Yeah, you know, going in there, kind of when Stephano's not expecting him. We saw the Queens kind of go out of their way to go somewhere else, and that's the second when SKillous hit. So beautiful little stuff right here, and behind it, he is transitioning quite nicely into, once again, Charge Lot Archon, kind of expecting either the Hydralisk or the Roach. And you know what? While this map
is... more roaches this time, actually. I think he's gonna... Yeah. I think he might go across again.
Yeah, he has halted drone production at 66. So we'll have to see...
Doesn't have a Hydra then, does he?
No, he does not. Oh, no, and he doesn't have any upgrades. His +1's only just now about to finish. Oof. I think... Wait... There's an infestation pit.
Maybe it's just because he's being attacked right now. That makes him like
maybe yeah. But yeah,
he all this quite easily. I mean, that's right. Oh, that's a force field though. There's no immortals to really damage these roaches though, and I think that's one of the tougher things here. As long as those Archons gonna get targeted down, it should be quite manageable. Unfortunate bile.
Okay, that was a pretty nice hold here, and we do have that infestation pit coming in as the Oracle's coming in as well, doing what they can. Now that will be their ticket home. That was kind of one of those breakout movies where you just take out as many as possible, thinking you're not going to make it home. But now this is going to open up. This is going to open up a chance for Stephano to actually go for it. The Queens, it looks like they're starting to waddle forward. Whether it's towards that fourth base or not, let's check.
Well, going the other way, taking out some rocks here alongside the road. We'll open it up a little bit more, so it's not that much creep spread. Oh, Swarm Host. He's making 10 Swarm Hosts right now.
Oh my god.
I've seen this play before. Just Roaches and Swarm Host. I mean, got to be a bit wary of the Oracles, I suppose, but I mean, it definitely can work. You can just kind of force the army to be in one location because you have a big ball of Roaches there, right? And then the Locusts just kind of come in from the other side. You can send it on the army, try to get some units killed, or as a lot of people like to do, just send it on top of a mineral line somewhere.
Beautiful bio right there, getting one of the Oracles. That was really sweet. Kind of leading it on there, but here we go. Stephano is maxed out, so if he's going to do damage, this is going to be his moment. As we do have SKillous in position, so Stephano will have to break down these rocks or risk being absolutely overwhelmed by the force fields. First Biles pushing him back. He wants to get on top of the shield batters to take them out. The Locusts getting a good concave on this army, but the Archon's doing good at kind of knocking them out. And with the overcharge, he should be able to push this back.
Yeah, I think the idea is that those Locusts are meant to kind of hold them back, stop them from running backwards, so that the Roaches and Ravagers can target down some units here. But it's not really working out. A lot of Roaches and Ravagers have gone down. Stephano being pushed back hard. And those Swarmos don't have any protection anymore. They don't have their Locusts ready either. This could be an absolute travesty for Stephano.
Yeah, now the Locusts do come in. The Archon count has been destroyed quite a bit, but having to use it defensively like that does mean that that countdown has reset. So SKillous can kind of just back off for a second and, you know, regroup, add a couple of additional Archons, and then from there... I mean, from there, you can just kind of push around because, yeah, look at this. Now Stephano trying to use them as a harassment unit.
Gets this around. It's nice to see. Okay, so going into the Hydras from this place onwards, is he going for Lurk is kind of the question here. I'm not sure, but not seeing a Lurker Den. Not seeing Hive being upgraded or anything like that, so maybe Stephano just looking to try and get another push going, make use of those Swarmos and just try to be an everlasting presence. And that's kind of the best way to make use of those Swarmos, right? You want to just keep sending in units, keep gaining that value from trading with free units. The more you get to do it, the better it is. So Stephano here trying to consistently be active with these Swarmos and trying perhaps delaying his tech routes a little bit so in order that he can actually be aggressive across the map.
He accidentally finds this next base as we see a lot of Roaches getting crushed over here. Stephano still is pretty maxed out, but unfortunately at this point, a lot of that supply is held up in those Locusts. So if SKillous goes for a big fight, then yeah, you're gonna get steamrolled here without those Locusts. So that's kind of the big problem with the late game utility of the Swarm Host, I'd like to say. And now SKillous even gonna be going up to that Fleet Beacon, getting Storm. Oh yeah, I'm not liking this.
If you have carriers or something like that, or just enough Archons, right? The Locusts, they just don't do much anymore. They're still getting a couple of gateway picks here, but at the cost of quite a lot of Roaches. And if we look at the resources lost tab, we can see those Swarmos, they're doing the opposite of what they're supposed to do actually in value. Or at least the opposite is being achieved. SKillous actually slightly ahead in cost efficiency right now.
Yeah, and this big attack of
place.
Zealots. This big attack of Zealots in the main base is crushing through here. He will be able to get a very easy kill on this base, as Stephano just doesn't have the supply to fight in both locations. So as his supply starts to plummet here, I think SKillous is going for the top.
Yeah, 17 workers have gone down here. More will follow. Stephano trying to scramble something together. He still has 90 army supply, right? So theoretically, he might be able to just break this army and then run across the map and do the same thing to SKillous, but it's rough. SKillous most likely won't let that happen to his army, and we're already seeing great zoning using those the storms and blinking away to safety here.
A little bit of a a little bit of a drone massacre right there in the middle.